Some NBA moments feel scripted, almost like they were pulled straight from a movie. But what happened Wednesday night? That was something different. Something that defied logic, history, and maybe even a little bit of basketball sanity. You see, return games in the NBA are always special. LeBron back to Cleveland. KD versus OKC. Klay going back to Golden State. These moments are fueled by emotion, drama, and raw basketball tension. But Luka Dončić, what he did, that was unprecedented. Let's set the stage. This wasn't just a return game. This was a full-circle moment. A night where fans, teammates, legends, even celebrities, packed the arena. Not just for a basketball game, but for Luka's return. You had Dirk Nowitzki courtside, Pat Mahomes in the building, and a stadium filled with "Thank you Luka" shirts, printed in Slovenian, no less. That's not just love. That's legacy. But what truly broke the matrix? Luka didn't just show up and play. He became the first player in NBA history to drop 45 points for a team, and then drop 45 points against that very same team in the same season. Let that sink in. This doesn't happen. Ever. And here's why. Number 1. Dropping 45 in an NBA game is already elite. Only a handful of players do it more than once in a season. And number 2. Players who can drop 45 like it's nothing? They don't get traded mid-season. Especially not from a team they just led to the NBA Finals. But Luka did. And even though he's missed games this season, he still managed to put up 45 or more 3 different times. The only 2 players with more. Yeah, you already know who they are. This wasn't just a performance. This was a message. A message to the fans. A message to the franchise that let him go. A message to the league. I'm still that guy. There's something about return games. When a star walks back into the arena where it all began, or ended, it's electric. It's tense. It's unforgettable. These games don't just live in stat sheets, they live in our memories. Let's rewind for a second. Remember 2010? LeBron James going back to Cleveland for the first time after the decision? Every time he touched the ball, boos. Every shot, hatred. Cleveland didn't just want him to lose, they wanted him humiliated. But LeBron didn't fold. He dropped 38 on his former team and walked out with the win. Fast forward. Vince Carter in Toronto. Once called Air Canada. Once a hero. But when he left, the city turned. When he returned as a Net, the boos were deafening. His jersey was burned. His legacy questioned. Even Kevin Durant, going back to OKC after joining the Warriors. The cupcake signs. The cold stares from Russ. The tension. Palpable. And yet, KD lit it up. Like he had something to prove. These return games are more than just basketball. They're personal. Now bring it back to Luka. What made his return night different? He didn't get booed. He didn't get hate. In fact, it was the exact opposite. He was welcomed like a hero returning from war. And here's the crazy part, the franchise that gave him away. They stood there and watched while he torched them. The arena had "Thank you Luka" shirts, and Luka responded by reminding them exactly why they should have never let him go. It wasn't just a game. It was closure. It was poetry. It was payback, with a smile. Because unlike other return games fueled by bitterness or betrayal, this one had love, regret, and that awkward silence of a team realizing, we might have just traded away the best thing that ever happened to us. Let's talk about the trade. 2 months ago, NBA fans got blindsided. Luka Dončić, the face of a franchise, the man who dragged them to the finals, the player who packed arenas, was traded. Mid-season. No warning. No logic. And just like that, everything changed. You could feel the confusion ripple across the league. Why would any team move on from a player like Luka? A 24-year-old generational talent, already with playoff heroics under his belt. Already breaking records. Already building a legacy. But apparently, it all came down to his contract? Yeah. That's what the team tried to sell. They called it unique. They talked about financial flexibility. They leaned on buzzwords like culture, defense, fit, as if those things ever replace a superstar. Then came the press conferences. The GM talking about work ethic. The owner quoting Shaq about effort. Subtle shots fired at the guy who literally carried the franchise through the toughest years. Who gave them their biggest playoff moments in recent history. Who made them relevant again. And they let him walk. Or worse, they pushed him out. And now, the karma hits different. Luka didn't just leave, he's cooking. Dropping 45. Smiling while doing it. Meanwhile, the team that traded him? Barely clinging to a play-in spot. The front office looks lost. The fans? Heartbroken. Confused. Some just numb. You ever seen a team happy to get torched by the guy they gave up? That's what Wednesday night felt like. Because deep down, they knew, they didn't just lose a player. They lost their future. And the worst part? It looks like this trade is getting more painful by the day. Some games are just games. Others become moments. Defining ones. What Luka Dončić did on Wednesday night wasn't just about revenge. It wasn't about numbers, although those were historic. It wasn't even about proving anyone wrong. It was about showing the world he never stopped being right. Right for the team. Right for the city. Right for the moment. And the franchise? Well, they now live with the echoes of that decision. Every time Luka drops 40, every time his new team climbs the standings, every time fans chant his name, they're reminded of what they lost. This wasn't just a bad trade. This was a franchise-altering mistake. You had that guy, and you let him go. Over money. Over culture. Over whatever imaginary issue you convinced yourselves was bigger than his impact. And Luka, he didn't need to scream. He didn't post anything cryptic. He let his game speak, loud and clear. He dropped 45 on the very team that turned the page on him. He smiled while fans chanted his name. He stood at center court and reminded everyone exactly who he is. Generational. Unforgettable. Irreplaceable. This might go down as the return game. The one we talk about for years. The night a star shined brighter than ever, and a franchise watched its future burn away in front of them. So yeah, Luka's insane night really did defy all NBA logic. And that's exactly what made it legendary.